Since I'm going to be out of the classroom Monday and Tuesday this week, Monday with Math B and Tuesday with meetings, I decided to do a flipped classroom. So I'm going to teach you the lesson today through this video for lesson 29, and then your assignment will take place while you're in the classroom. So you'll work on your homework and you can collaborate then with the other students. You'll all have the same video, so you'll all be watching it. I will be posting it via a link, and then you can go back and watch it numerous times if you want to. So today's lesson is on multi-step problems, and we're going to use all operations. So the first thing you need to think about is your I can statement, and the I can statement will be on the board, and it says that I can solve multi-step equations algebraically. So set them up and solve them. We're going to start with example 1, so if you would please turn in your binder to page 127, take that page out. It looks like a lot of questions. I'm only going to do a part of it because I'm going to show you what I think is the best way to learn this lesson. So, the school librarian, Mr. Marker, knows the library has 1,400 books, but he wants to reorganize how the books are displayed on the shelves. Mr. Marker needs to know how many fiction, nonfiction, and resource books are in the library. He knows the library has 4 times as many fiction books as resource books and half as many nonfiction books as fiction books. If these are the only types of books in the library, how many of each type of book are in the library? It starts asking you to do tape diagrams, but I'm not going to do a tape diagram. I'm going to show you how to solve these, set this up using a table. So I've gone ahead and I've started the table, so if you go to page 129, you're going to see where this would go. I used 4 columns because they told us there's fiction books, nonfiction books, resource books, and a total. So I've got 4 columns ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is I have to decide what would represent the value, the variable that all the other values key off of. So I go back and I reread it, and it looks to me that, got to get to my right page, it looks to me that everything is keying off the resource books. We have 4 times as many fiction books as resource books. So I'm going to make the resource book a 1. So if I had 1 resource book and I had 4 times as many fiction books, then fiction would be 4. I go back and read again, and it says half as many nonfiction books as fiction. So I look and I say, fiction is 4. Half of fiction, of that 4, would be 2. So I do a little math here, and I say 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. My total is 7. So out of every 7 total books, 1 would be resource, 2 would be nonfiction, and 4 would be fiction. Now we're going to assign our variables. Since the resource is the 1, I'm going to use an R for that. Looking back here, if this is 1R, then this would be 2R, and this would be 4R. Does everybody see that? If this was a 1, and I'm assigning it as an R, 2 is twice of 1, so 2 times R. 4 is 4 times 1, so 4 times R. If I add those together, 4R plus 2R plus R, it's going to be 7R. Now, here comes the calculations. If you go back to the problem, you're going to see there's a hard number, and that hard number is the total books of the library, 1,400. So I know when I total up how many fiction, nonfiction, and resource books I have, I'm going to have 1,400. So I'm going to show you, now that we have our variables set up, and you've been working very hard at solving algebraically, I'm just going to do the work here. So I'm going to make my equation. 4R, move this up a little bit, 4R plus 2r plus r equals 1,400. I already added those up, and I got the 7r. So now I have 7r equals 1,400. This is multiply, so what's the inverse operation of multiplication? It would be division. So now I'm going to take 7r equals 1,400, and I'm going to divide both sides by 7. So 7 divided by 7, these cancel each other out. It just becomes r, and 1,400 divided by 7, I think that's 200. So now I have my value. R is equal to 200. I can now move back up to my table, and where the r is, I'll put my 200. Since the nonfiction books are 2 times r, I will take 2 times the 200, and that is 400. And then I'm going to take the 200 times 4, which would be 800. Here's the A+ math student in me. I have to check to make sure. 800 plus 400 would be 1,200, and 1,200 plus 200 is equal to my 1,400. So I've checked my work, and I know that my equation balances.